Okay, so I think this is working. I guess we'll find out. So hello everybody. My name is Sonia Soul, which is not my real name. I'm telling you that's my name because I need a name to tell you, and that is the name that is on my social media. So that is the name I'm going by to help keep a division in my life. I'm living the double life, as some people call it. I live and work pretty much as a man. I was not all the time, but 80% of the time, I would say. And I'm wearing a wig at the moment, which I don't normally do. So this is my 20% time. I'm wearing it pretty much just for this video. I do wear it sometimes not for videos, but I thought it would, I don't know, help express what I mean to express by this video, which is talking about being trans. Yes, I am looking at myself in the thing and trying to make myself pretty. And I seem to not be doing a very good job of it, but oh well. Let's see where to start. So the purpose of this video is to talk about how I came to the idea that I am trans, because maybe it will help somebody out there. Maybe it will help me. I am not like some trans people who always knew that they were trans. I did not always know. I suspected it at an early age, but there were a few instances, I think, let's see. There was one time when I referred to myself as granddaughter in a conversation on accident, and when I said it, it felt like the right word, but there was this kind of moment of just confusion where I was thinking to myself, that felt right, but I'm not a girl, and what does that mean? I think I was probably 11 years old at the time, and I don't think I even knew what a trans person was back then. I don't think I'd even heard of the word. I knew of men wearing women's clothing, but I don't really, at that time, I don't think it was like a thing. I think it was just something that you might see in a movie once in a while or something like that. So I just kind of dismissed it. And then there was one time when I was about 16 years old when I tried on a stepsister's bathing suit. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror, and when I approached the mirror, I remember wanting to be sexy in the bathing suit, and I looked at myself and I looked absolutely hideous. I did not look at all like a woman. I looked like a man in a woman's bathing suit, and it just was not a pretty picture to me. And I did not think that I was trans then, but I just thought that was a little bit weird, that I did not put the bathing suit on with the intention of wanting to look sexy. It was kind of just at the last minute as I approached the mirror that I felt that desire to be sexy in the mirror, and but that too I just dismissed. And then there were things, along the way. After years went by, and maybe something small would happen that just made me think that I'm not like other guys, for one, and but I don't think it ever really occurred to me that I was a girl. It was just more just like I'm not a guy. Like I'm not a real man, and so things like being attracted to a man for the first time. That was quite depressing. going through that confusion about whether I was gay or straight, because I had been attracted to women for most of my teenage years. I masturbated to Playboy, and I thought women were absolutely gorgeous. I did not think of myself as gay when I was younger. But then I met a man in college who changed my life. He changed my worldview, changed the way that I looked at myself, and I was pretty much in love with him. Even then, I didn't. There were times when I kind of questioned whether, if I was to be with him, would I be the woman in the relationship, that kind of thing. But I still didn't think that I was trans. Of course, even then I didn't really know what trans was still. I don't really... The idea that a person could be trans really didn't hit me, I think, until about 2011 when I was at a college. I was at the Art Institute of Charlotte. Hopefully I'm not giving away too much of my personal information here, but I guess it's alright. And I think that's when I met my first trans person. It was a trans girl, and she was riding the school shuttle, which shuttled students from the apartments which the school rented for the students to the school. And this trans girl, was riding the shuttle, and I didn't talk to her. I don't think anybody really talked to her. She kind of kept to herself. And I remember thinking that she looked a little bit tense riding the shuttle, which I would expect even from myself. Yeah, but I remember thinking that she was the bravest person that I had ever seen. That I thought, you have got to totally have balls, pun intended, to dress up as a woman and ride a shuttle to school. And I wondered if I had the balls to do such a thing, and at the time I thought I didn't. I thought I could never do something like that. But even then, I still didn't think that I was trans. I just thought, would I ever do it? I remember suspecting it after I got out of the Army. I joined the Army because I was dating a girl who I thought I wanted to marry, but my life was in such disarray with drug use, constant, daily drug use, that I felt like I needed the change, and I felt like the Army would give me that change, and it did. But I ended up not going back to her. Actually, I did, but we're not together. But when I was in the Army, when we went through I forget what they call it, but when you go to deployment and you come back, you have to go through certain classes, like training type stuff, which is like reintegration into society classes, basically. And at one of these, for some reason, it really surprised me, one of the staff sergeants said, "Some of you will leave here and you will become women." And I remember thinking, well, knowing my luck, because I consider myself to have very bad luck in life, I thought, that'll be me. I still didn't think that I was trans. I just thought that, maybe one day I would find out that I was, which may have been some kind of, I don't know, maybe people might think that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But that was 2005. I was in the Army. But once I met the trans person at the school, that's when I started actually thinking about kind of the fact that a person could be trans, and what does that mean, and that kind of thing. And I started doing research when I was living in Charlotte, and I started doing research online, watching YouTube videos. I watched probably 100 transgender transition videos, which were mostly just still photograph, slideshow basically type things, often where people would tell their story and show how they transitioned from living as a man to a woman. In most cases, in some cases, they might not have started transition yet, but they were kind of talking about their life, which is kind of what this is. But I am not transitioning yet. I have not started any kind of hormone therapy, or I have not made plans for any kind of surgeries. I did try hormones once when I was in Atlanta, and I stopped because I was living in a homeless shelter for veterans, which was all male, and I didn't want to go through that transition in a shelter with all men. And now currently where I'm working, which is also with all men, I am not. I should say I'm not allowed to transition. Where I work, I cannot wear women's clothing or a wig or makeup or that kind of stuff. So transitioning right now is kind of out of the question. I'm getting a little bit off track. I forgot what I was going for here. Me. Yeah, so I started studying trans people on YouTube, and many times I would watch a video, and a person would say something about their life, how they felt as a kid, how they felt as just growing up and going through things, high school, that kind of stuff. I identified with most of it, and that's when I started thinking that possibly that I was trans, and that most of the problems that I'd had in my life probably were a result of me basically trying to be the wrong gender, essentially. That I was essentially pretending, which is how I felt most of my life. I felt like I was a pretender. I felt like I was an actor. When I was around people, I was basically trying to act in a way that I thought people would want to be around me, and it never worked. People did not really want to be around me. I did have friends from time to time, especially at college.